robbers. They hang in the hood where they rag, thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC robbers. They hang in the hood where they rag, thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC robbers. They hang in the hood where they rag, thinking like a bumblebee with my 45 GLOC robbers. They hang.
Yeah. What's up? This is Gou Tanabe coming at y'all with another motherfucking hood review. Yes, another one. I haven't done one in a long time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being stupid, procrastinating and shit. But I have been reading manga. I just never like fucking started writing down shit and like doing reviews. But I was been reading some shit here and there. Reviewing HP Lovecraft and oh fuck. Also, man, I won't be able to fucking like show my face for a while. I mean, yeah, I can, but as far as for like doing shit like how I did in my room at first, I can't fucking do it until next year. Well, my camera didn't fuck up or anything, but just reasons and shit. But anyways, reviewing HP Lovecraft's The Hound and Other Stories. And the adaptation is by, god damn, what's this motherfucking name? Cause I have my papers here, shit. This is Gou Tanabe. I don't know, it's Gou Tanabe. I don't want to say like a fucking American. Gou Tanabe. It's Gou Tanabe. Gou Tanabe. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, Gou Tanabe. And I'll talk about HP Lovecraft, but I'm gonna talk about him at the end, man, because I feel like this is just gonna. If I talk about him right now, I don't want to turn people away from this shit. Because of certain reasons or whatever. But I'm gonna just dig into this shit right now. God damn it. This manga is fucking. It's 3 stories. The Hound, the first one I said. The Temple and the Nameless City. The manga is a horror manga, whatever. All 3 of them are horror with like elements of like psychological shit and other stuff. But I'm gonna summarize the first one for you. You know what I'm saying? Which is the fucking the temple and shit. My bad, dog. Let me eat something real quick. Shit. It's like all that paper shit you hear, like plasticky whatever. That's motherfucking food, dog. Alright. Alright, so the first story we get into is the fucking temple. The temple. And it's about some Nazis, man. They out at sea, and they end up blowing up some British like vessel that they see. And like I think it's like a couple days into it, like there's some dead British dude washes up on their deck, and the lieutenant, you know, he's with his peoples and shit. And the lieutenant, right, they're like, oh yeah, throw him over into the sea. And he's like, oh wait, and then he goes and checks his body, and then he pulls out like this little broken sculpted head or whatever, and it's from some artifact that this dude had in some pocket. It was a head. It looks like Hermes, the Greek god or whatever. I'm not quite sure if that's really who it is, but it looks like it. And as soon as they throw it over, Lieutenant leaves, and then those guys, one of the guys is like, oh man, I just saw him swim away or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like their faces turn, like they look stoned as fuck. I'm talking about both ways, like as they look high as fuck, and their faces look like it turned to stone. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when the shitstorm fucking happens, man. What I like about it is like the art, of course. The art's pretty good. The horror, of course, that's like the main thing of this whole fucking manga. The psychological aspects of it, the bit of mystery that it has, the little bit of action. I mean, it's not a whole lot of action, but it's enough for like a really small story. You know what I'm saying? It's just barely anything of action, but I mean, it's just, like I said, it's enough for a small story. It's gonna sound stupid as fuck, but it's the fact that it has to do with these Nazis. I don't like Nazis, but within the story, like it adds some shit to it. Like I don't know, it's like some spiciness kind of in a way to the story. spices it up with that. That's the only way I could describe it. But I don't like Nazis, like I said, like in real life. I also like that the lost city of Atlantis is in this bitch. Forgot. Let me see. Look, man, you're gonna forget that they're even fucking Nazis to begin with. Like, halfway through the story, I forgot that they fucking Nazis. So, I mean, they don't put it all up in your face that they Nazis. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, America shows up in this bitch. Like, the Germans see America and they're like, oh shit, fuck this. So they go under the sea so they won't get spotted. My biggest issue with this, man, is the commander's fucking face, man. It was like Gou Tanabe decided, like, well, I'm too lazy. I'm gonna give this dude the same facial expressions every time. Like, it's just a serious fucking face. Like, he gave the lieutenant Cleansy, I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name. He gave him a couple different expressions to his face, but Commander Karl, I'm pronouncing his whole name, Karl Heinrich Graf von Altenburger. What the fuck, whatever. He kept having the same serious face over and over and over. I just don't understand why Gou Tanabe did that. I don't feel lazy or what. But the other issue I had with this was the ending that I had in here. Like, it's like kind of like a cliffhanger in a way, but at the same time, it's like one of those type of endings where you decide yourself what the fuck just happened to him. Like, I hate those fucking endings. Like, why do I have to decide what happened to him? Whatever I decide as the ending is not the true ending, because it's just like an opinion I have. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why it has to end like that. I wish it would have had an actual fucking ending. Man, this is my final thoughts on this shit. I mean, the story, in my opinion, would be good for like a film. Like, if you have the right actors and everything, like, yeah, there'll probably be some backlash and shit. They go, oh, I don't want no fucking Nazis and this and that. Like, pretty sure. I mean, there's a chance that it would, especially with like the way things are right now. Like, I'm not no PC motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So if I saw some Nazis on the fucking film and it's about them, I wouldn't even fucking trip, you know what I'm saying? But there'd probably be some backlash, but in my opinion, it would probably make it for a good film. You know, of course, make that film in your own way in a bit, like actually giving an actual fucking ending to it. Another thing that kind of like threw me off on here was like when they see the American warship and the Germans like pretty much go under it. Well, this story was written in the 20s, and fucking at the time, United States wasn't really into the war until once World War II happened. That's when like the United States went all out, like they were in it, like for real, like from what I know at least. So I'm just like kind of confused about it because in the First World War, the U.S. didn't really participate in it much. So I was just really confused about it, So yeah. Alright, so moving on to the Hound. And this one is about two guys who are grave robbers. And they open this coffin, and inside the coffin is some dead motherfucker. And there's an amulet hanging around his neck. So they take the amulet, and fucking shit story happens to him. Like, not even in a week. It doesn't happen like right away, but it happens within less than a week. Things start happening like right after they rob that grave and then get the amulet or whatever. And a monster's just chasing this dudes. You know what I'm saying? They start like a monster's stalking to kill these motherfuckers. Yeah, I don't want to. I did the other summary way longer for the other fucking story, but I like the other story. Anyways, the art, of course, it's more detailed than the first story. The horror once again, it's the main theme of this whole fucking thing. It's all over this bitch. There's a lot of eerie looking shit in there. And I don't know what else I like about it, to be honest, man. But as for issues, my issue with this motherfucker, man, the fucking faces once again. Like, fuck, man. Like, why did this motherfucker do the same shit again with the face? Like, the facial expressions. he like, fuck, man. I don't understand what Gou Tanabe's problem is here, man. Gou Tanabe is just like, oh, well, you know, I was like, I'll do detailed art, but I won't do detail in the fucking face. Like on the facial expressions and all that shit. Like, I just don't get it. Like the Saint John always, for the most part, has this calm looking fucking face. For the most part of the story, he has a calm looking face. And the other character always has this fucking mean mug on his face, man. Like, what the fuck? The other character doesn't even have a fucking name. That's another thing that gets on my nerves about this. Why doesn't the other character have the fucking name when he's fucking main character of this thing? Why does he have a fucking name? But he always has this mean mug look to him, man. Like he's trying to fight somebody or something, man. Like, dog, come on, man. Always have a mean mug. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna assume the reason why he doesn't have a fucking name is because, like, let's just say, like, your name is fucking Eric and you're reading this story. The other main character that on here that doesn't have no name, guess what his name is? His name is Eric. So it's actually you yourself that's in the story. That's why he doesn't have a name. I mean, I don't fucking know. I'm assuming that shit. You know what I'm saying? I also feel as though, like, there should have been more going on with the monster, the flying monster or whatever. And a bit of background to it, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And my final thoughts on it, though, is like, the story was okay. Like, the story, the Hound, supposed to be the highlight of this manga. But honestly, the first story on here, which is the temple, is better than this one. This one's okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the art is cool and all that shit. The art is more detailed, but this one is this one's not as good. Story-wise, this one's not as good as the first one. So yeah. I know y'all hear all this fucking flapping around with the papers and shit, but I mean, hey, I'm just reading some of the stuff I wrote down for this, and then some of it I'm not even the crazy thing is, I'm not even reading some of this shit. I'm just like freestyling off the dome. Even though I wrote it down, I'm not reading it all like how I wrote it. Okay, moving on to the third story in this fucking manga. Third story is the Nameless City, which is about a guy in the desert looking for a nameless city. He finds it, and then he goes in, and then he tries to escape out that bitch. Like, he goes into like this small opening, which is like ends up being like some kind of small temple, and then it gets bigger and bigger as he goes in deeper. But I'm gonna assume this story, right? It happens around the Arabian Peninsula, and the reason why I say that is because of what he mentions in the story. Like, he says something about like the Arabian tribes, blah 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 blah. Don't go there. I don't know, something like that. Like, I mean, you'll see it here on the video. There's like a part in the manga where he says that shit. So that's why I assume it's on there. What I liked about it is, once again, the art. The art is detailed in this bitch. Sorry for the flapping of this fucking paper that I have here. But I do love how like like the ancient shit that it has in there. It's kind of like the ancient, like the temples of Egypt. Fuck, like the pyramids of Egypt. Like, when they go inside, there's like these hieroglyphics and shit, and these drawings or whatever the fuck they are. I can't even remember the names of it, but it's pretty much like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you start seeing the actual drawings of the Egyptians inside of it or whatever. So he goes inside and he sees shit like that, but it's not Egyptians. Like, it's the race of these monster creature looking things that existed at one point or whatever. This is gonna sound dumb as fuck, but I like the camel's face in this manga. As soon as the fucking guy tries to as soon as he goes down into that opening, and he goes into like a temple thing, that camel has like this face of like, man, fucking white people always love in danger. Like, it's fucking hilarious, like the face that camel got, man. So I actually like that about the manga. You know, even though it's something small and stupid and insignificant to the story, like, I find it hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I also like the creatures, or reptile looking motherfucker, like I said. my issue with this, well, the first one is a minor issue, but once again, there is no fucking name for the character. The reason I don't make them, I'm not gonna make them, I'm not gonna make it that much of an issue for this story because I feel like this story seemed shorter than the other two. I didn't count the pages, but it just seemed shorter. Like, but I would have liked more info on what led him into even, trying to actually find this fucking city or whatever. I would have liked that in the manga. And another thing I did, expressions on the faces, once again. This dude always has this surprised look to his face. Like, he's surprised about everything. Like, everywhere he looks, he's surprised. Like, what the fuck are you surprised about every fucking time? You're in the fucking desert. You by yourself with the fucking camel. Why do you always have a surprised look on your face, man? I don't understand what Gou Tanabe is. I don't understand how you can detail everything else, but nothing on faces, man. Like, it's ridiculous. My final thoughts on it is that, well, shit, it was better than the Hound, better than the highlight of this manga, and I just wish it was actually longer because I was really enjoying the fuck out of this last story. Overall, as a whole manga, I would give this manga a 5 out of 7. And yes, I would recommend it if you're really into horror and kind of psychological shit, I guess, or whatever. Yes, I would tell you to jump on this and go buy it. If you don't want to, believe me, of course, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you because I read. I'm telling you as a hood motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I would recommend you check it out online first. Like, if there's a website where you can check it out for free, there's several of those websites because I've looked into those sites that have a bunch of manga uploaded where you can read. So yeah, but if let's just say you're into One Piece or something like that, and you're collecting each volume of One Piece, you really love that. I mean, I would just suggest don't check this manga. I'll keep collecting your One Piece. If you're on a budget, what I mean is if you're on a budget and you can only get one volume of something or one manga or whatever, just keep getting your One Piece. You can come back to this one later. But if you're not on a budget, you can afford it. I would recommend you getting this, man. Especially if you're into horror. You know what I'm saying? I actually heard the original stories of all three of these a couple days ago. I heard the Hound, Nameless City, and the Temple, and they're actually more detailed. You know what I'm saying? I heard the audiobooks to them. I didn't read it. I saw it on YouTube. For example, the Temple. There's this one part where in the Temple, the actual original story of it, they shoot off the lifeboats off the British vessel. They shoot the lifeboats, and I forgot what else, man. There's several details in there that are not in this manga though. The Hound, the way the Hound starts off, it's not the same way the original story actually starts. The original story starts off a little bit differently. I'm only thinking this shit off the dome, man. I forgot exactly. I didn't write this shit, this part of it. I'm trying to think. The Nameless City. In the Nameless City, he actually finds an actual whole city, right? In the manga, it's not like that. In the manga, this fool finds... I want to say something real quick because I fucked up really bad, but he did find a whole city. For whatever weird reason, I didn't focus right on the artwork in the manga on that part where he actually finds it. So yeah, I fucked up. I forgot what the fuck else. There's other small details that didn't go into the actual manga. So yeah, man. Now I'm gonna talk about the actual original person who made this shit. I didn't want to talk about this person at first. Look, man, on some real shit, if you know Lovecraft, you know what the deal is. If you know H.P. Lovecraft, you know what the deal is. I didn't know about I knew his name and everything. I might have read his shit back when I was in school, but I don't quite remember. But I've always known his fucking name. His name is fucking popular as fuck. You know what I'm saying? he's influenced the fuck out of a lot of people, like people who do video games, movies, you know, people who actually write other popular stories like dark horror stories, whatever. He's influenced a lot of fucking people, man. So there's no denying that shit. But the thing about him as a person, he was a shitty person, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just tell you straight up, like, what the deal is. Like, he was racist ass motherfucker, dog. You know what I'm saying? He was racist ass motherfucker. He didn't like, you know, gay folks. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like immigrants. Like, you know, he was a shitty person overall as a person. You know, he was just shitty. Like, he made like these cool stories he was writing, but he, as a person himself, he was shitty. But towards the end of his life, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was like, I don't know if it was a year before he died, I can't quite remember, but he ended up, he grew up out of that. He kind of like regretted, from what I've read and I've heard too, he felt like he was wrong for saying all the things that he'd said. Like, he named his, like, on some real shit, he named his cat like Nigger Man or some shit like that. That's what he named his cat or some shit like that, from when I like Nigger Man. Like, the fuck? How the fuck you name your cat that? It's fucking retarded. But and I don't know, I guess you could say people grow up, man, you know what I'm saying? He like I said, towards the end of his life, he felt he was wrong for a lot of that shit. There's also like assumptions that he could have been gay secretly. You know what I'm saying? Like, for whatever weird reason, there's always been times when like people who talk the loudest are secretly like the proudest, or I guess you could say. I don't know. I forgot how that saying goes. Bash on gay people hard, end up being gay themselves. You know what I'm saying? There's been like so many stories on that. I didn't want to mention this shit at first because it probably might turn people away from even checking any of his stuff out. It shouldn't keep you away from his works, you know. There's a lot of artists who did some really shitty things, and people still jam their music, man. You know what I'm saying? There's fucking supposedly that 6ix9ine kid or whatever the fuck his name is. He fucked some like 16-year-old or whatever, 15, I don't know, something like that, right? 15, 16-year-old. People still jamming the fuck out of him right now. You just remember, always separate the art from the artist. You don't have to like the person, but if you can separate the art from the artist, you know, that's fine. You know, I always try to do that, you know, with people, even if they're shitty or whatever. Oh, fuck! I forgot to mention this shit earlier. But you know, I'm done talking about Lovecraft or whatever. Just I'll put some links in the description so you can like check out, you know, audiobooks on his original stuff, the ones I heard. I forgot to say this in the beginning, but Gou Tanabe actually, he did other adaptations of Lovecraft's work, so I don't know if that's even gonna be released here in the U.S. But I think it's like 2 or 3 other mangas that he's done of Lovecraft stuff. And if I'm hoping it does get released here in the U.S., you know, hopefully it will. I don't know if it'll happen. Sometimes stuff from Japan never makes it over here. So yeah, I would be looking forward to that if they do release it. I mean, I like his art, but I just don't like the facial expressions the same for over and over. But yeah, man, that's all I have to say about this shit. So I might just do nothing but horror all the way up to Halloween. I'm also gonna have to do Mega Man because the game's coming out soon. So I do have Mega Man. I still have 3 more volumes of Mega Man that I could cover. The Giga Mix. So anyway, yeah, man. So peace. See you on the next motherfucking review. When I get my Glock and load it up, it's about to make a bust. Expect me not to pop a slug, make a move, it's touching us. Really, 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 do you think that you can wrong? Can you fuck these
a bad bitch, nigga try to sell me